All right, roll camera in 3, 2, 1. Cowboys fans, what on earth just happened in Dallas? The NFL world is absolutely spinning right now after breaking news out of Cowboys headquarters. Jerry Jones has made a stunning announcement, and it has completely shaken the foundation of America's team. In today's video, we're diving deep into this shocking departure, what it means for the Dallas Cowboys' future, and why fans across the country are absolutely stunned. Stay with me, because this story has layers, rumors, and massive long-term implications for the franchise. So, here's what we know. Out of nowhere, Jerry Jones has confirmed a departure that almost nobody saw coming. The statement dropped, reporters scrambled, social media went into meltdown, and within minutes, every major sports outlet had turned its focus to Dallas. For decades, the Cowboys have been defined by stability at the very top, a kind of unshakable image of power and control surrounding Jerry Jones and his inner circle. That image just cracked. The announcement was abrupt, the timing is strange, and the football implications are enormous. Fans aren't just surprised, they're worried, confused, and in some cases furious. Let's slow down and walk through how this all unfolded. Early this morning, beat reporters who cover the Cowboys started hinting that something unusual was happening behind the scenes. There were whispers of an emergency meeting, key personnel being called in, and phones lighting up all over the building. This wasn't the usual roster move, this wasn't a practice squad signing, and this definitely wasn't some minor front office reshuffle. Then, almost like a bomb going off in the middle of the NFL news cycle, the Cowboys released a formal statement. In that statement, Jerry Jones confirmed that a major figure within the organization is stepping down and leaving the team. The phrasing was careful, controlled, and polished, but you could read between the lines. This wasn't just business as usual. This was something that had been brewing, and it finally boiled over. The reaction online was instant. Cowboys fans jumped on X, Instagram, and every forum you can think of. Some people said, "It's about time, this change was overdue," while others were like, "What is Jerry doing? Why now? Why right before such a critical stretch of the season?" The fan base is split, confused, and desperately searching for answers that the official statement didn't fully provide. As is always the case with the Cowboys, when information is scarce, speculation explodes. Rumors started flying about internal tension, power struggles, contract disputes, and even questions about the team's long-term direction and vision. The shock isn't just about someone leaving, it's about what this departure reveals about the state of the Cowboys behind the curtain. To really understand why this is such a big deal, you have to understand how Jerry Jones runs this team. Since buying the Cowboys, he has been more than just an owner. He's been the face of the franchise, the decision-maker, the spokesman, and in many ways the star. Coaches have come and gone, quarterbacks have risen and fallen, but Jerry has always been that constant presence. Over time, he surrounded himself with a close-knit circle of people he trusted. Family members, executives, longtime advisors, and football minds who understood not just the game, but Jerry's way of doing business. That circle doesn't change often. So when someone inside that trusted inner group suddenly departs, that's not a minor detail, that's a shockwave. Think about how rare these moments are. The Cowboys have had controversies, disappointing playoff exits, big signings, blockbuster trades, holdouts, and drama with star players. But the front office structure has mostly stayed intact, especially with the people Jerry relies on the most. That's why so many people are asking, what went wrong? Was this a disagreement over personnel decisions? Was it about the draft, free agency, or the team's philosophy going forward? Or was it something even deeper than football? A clash of egos, power, and control in one of the NFL's most high-pressure environments. Let's talk about timing, because that's one of the most confusing parts of this situation. The Cowboys are in a window where expectations are sky high. The fan base wants a Super Bowl. The media is watching every move, and every season that ends short of a deep playoff run feels like another wasted year. In that kind of environment, organizational cohesion is crucial. You want stability, clarity, and everyone pulling in the exact same direction. So why would Jerry greenlight such a major shakeup now? Was his hand forced? Did this individual insist on leaving? Or did Jerry decide that, for the Cowboys to take the next step, somebody had to go? Now let's layer in the on-field reality. The Cowboys roster has talent. No one denies that. You look at their key players on both sides of the ball, and you see the pieces of a legitimate contender, but you also see inconsistency. There have been games where the Cowboys look unstoppable, and others where they look flat, disorganized, and overwhelmed. That type of inconsistency always leads to finger-pointing. Is it the head coach, the coordinators, the players, or the front office? When a big front office or leadership departure happens, It suggests that the blame might be getting spread higher up the ladder. Maybe this is Jerry's way of saying, we're making changes at the top so there are no more excuses. Fans, though, are asking a different question. Is this the right change? Over the years, one of the biggest criticisms of the Cowboys has been that they're too top-heavy with Jerry's influence. Many around the league have said that the Cowboys are an incredibly attractive brand, but not always an attractive job for independent-minded coaches or executives, because Jerry likes to be involved in everything. So when a high-ranking figure departs, some fans are wondering if this is another example of someone butting heads with Jerry and losing that power struggle. If that's the case, nothing may truly change except the names on the office doors. And that's what worries a certain segment of the fan base. On the other hand, there's another group of fans taking a more optimistic view. They're saying, maybe this is the start of a real reset. Maybe Jerry, as stubborn and as proud as he is known to be, finally reached a point where he's willing to alter the formula. Maybe the departure opens the door to fresh ideas, a new approach to team building, and a more modern, analytically driven vision that some other franchises have embraced. Could this be the first domino in a larger evolution of how the Cowboys operate? Those are the big picture questions people are starting to ask, because a move like this rarely happens in isolation. Usually it's part of a bigger plan, whether that plan has been fully thought through or not. One key area this departure could affect immediately is upcoming personnel decisions. Think about the next draft, looming contract extensions, and possible free agent moves. Whoever steps into that vacant role, or whoever absorbs those responsibilities, is going to have a huge say in what the Cowboys look like over the next 3 to 5 years. That means decisions on core players, decisions on how much cap space to commit, and decisions about whether this team tries to run it back with the current core or reshape it while there's still time. If you're a player in that locker room today, you're probably looking around and thinking, what does this mean for me? Is this good for my future here, or is it a sign that big changes are coming? From a locker room perspective, a shakeup at the top can go one of two ways. It can unite the team, giving them a kind of us-against-the-world mentality, where everyone rallies to prove that the Cowboys are more than just one executive or one voice in the building. Or it can create uncertainty, doubt, and distraction, especially if players feel like the organization is in flux. Much of that will depend on how quickly the Cowboys move to stabilize the situation. Do they already have a successor lined up? Do they promote from within, keeping continuity with someone who's already been in the building? Or do they look outside the organization and bring in a fresh face with different ideas, knowing that move could create tension with Jerry's long-standing style of leadership? Another huge factor is the message this sends to the rest of the league. Other teams, agents, and top coaching candidates watch these situations closely. They want to know, is the Cowboys front office a stable, structured environment where people can do their jobs, or is it a place where power is concentrated so heavily at the top that you're always one disagreement away from the exit? The answer to that question affects everything from trade negotiations to contract talks to future hiring decisions. Remember, being America's team is a blessing and a curse. The spotlight is bright, the brand is massive, the pressure is enormous, and every internal conflict eventually becomes external drama. Now let's talk about something that's on every fan's mind. Does this bring the Cowboys closer to or further from a Super Bowl? That is the measuring stick, the ultimate standard. No one in Dallas is satisfied with playoff appearances alone. The drought has gone on for too long, and every season that ends with disappointment adds more weight to the expectations. If this departure leads to a more coherent vision, better drafting, smarter roster management, and a more aligned relationship between the front office and the coaching staff, then, in the long run, this could actually be a positive turning point. Some of the most successful teams in recent years, look at organizations like the Chiefs, the 49ers, or even the Eagles, have had strong synergy between ownership, front office, and coaching. Maybe this is Jerry's attempt, however chaotic it looks right now, to get closer to that model. But if this move is just another symptom of deeper dysfunction, if it's about ego, power, and control, rather than strategy and improvement, then it could set the Cowboys back. Stability at the top matters, vision matters, and it's fair for fans to ask whether this is change for the sake of change, or change with a clear long-term plan attached to it. The truth is, we probably won't know the full answer for months, maybe even seasons, but the immediate fallout is undeniable. Media will question every decision, fans will scrutinize every move, and the pressure on Jerry Jones himself is only going to intensify. When someone close to you in the organization leaves, especially in such a public way, it strips away some of the insulation. More eyes turn directly to the owner. Behind the scenes, you can imagine the conversations happening right now. Scouts wondering about their futures, assistants and coordinators asking if the new structure will affect their roles, support staff hoping that their jobs are safe amid the shakeup. People inside the building are people with families, careers, and uncertainties, and when a high-profile departure hits the news, everyone feels the ripple effect. That human element is often overlooked, but it's a real part of organizational turmoil in the NFL. As for Jerry Jones, one thing is certain: he is not afraid of making bold, controversial moves. His entire tenure as owner has been defined by big swings, some that turned into legendary moments, and others that fans still complain about years later. This shocking departure fits right into that pattern of high-drama leadership. The question now is whether this will be remembered as a necessary, gutsy step toward a new era of Cowboys football, or as another miscalculation that kept the team stuck in that frustrating space between good and great. So, where do the Cowboys go from here? In the coming days, we'll likely get more details, more leaks, and more context from insiders. We'll find out if this was truly mutual, as official statements so often claim, or if it was a forced exit after a long period of tension. We'll see how quickly the Cowboys move to announce a replacement or a revised front office structure. We'll also get a better sense of how players and coaches are reacting, both in press conferences and in how they carry themselves on the field. If the Cowboys come out playing with extra fire, maybe this becomes a rallying point. If they stumble, the narrative will turn darker, fast. Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about this sudden departure? Are you relieved, hopeful, angry, confused? Do you think this is the change the organization has needed, or just more drama from a franchise that already lives in the headlines way too often? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me what you think this means for the future of the Dallas Cowboys. Is this the first step on the road back to the Super Bowl, or is it another twist in a long, frustrating story? If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button to support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates as this story develops. I'll be breaking down every new detail, every new report, and what it all means for America's team and for the entire NFL landscape. This situation in Dallas is far from over, and the next decisions Jerry Jones makes could define the franchise for years to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.